Hey folks, lack of response here. We are doing another round of the good, the bad, and the weird. Working out of the overbuilt knife case. This is tricky. Today we are looking at the PMP Alpha Smilodon. Let's go take a look. Here we are talking about the good, the bad, and the weird of the PMP Alpha Smilodon. This was the older model. The new one has like some weird little ridge or cutout up here on this part. I haven't played with that one, so I can't comment on it. This is the older version. They say it's flamed titanium, but I'm not seeing it very much. That looks more like just a blasted finish, stonewash blade. We're gonna do some measurements and size comparisons and talk about the good, the bad, and the weird of this knife. Start off with measuring. We have, it's 4-inch blade. If you were just looking at the cutting edge, a little bit more. There we go. I gotta line it up right. So, depending on where you put your ruler, you might get 4 inches. A little over 9.5 inches overall. Not pretty thin in the pocket, frame lock. Only opening mechanism is the flipper. Size comparisons. Have the Chris Reeve knives, large Sebenza 21, and the Spyderco Mannix, bigger than both. Let's get out the other PMP that we've looked at in this series to compare apples to apples. I guess oranges to oranges, pimps to pimps. I don't know. Here we go. Bigger than the Kodiak, but thinner than the Kodiak. I like carrying this one more. This one I've carried and used it a bunch more. Slicing food, opening packages. That's getting into the good. It carries really nicely. I can put it in my favorite pocket slip here pretty easily. Extract it pretty easily. Finish is great for a user, right? With the tumbled finish on the blade, the blasted finish on the handle. I've disassembled it. It disassembles easily. I think those are all T8s. You don't got to take off that pod clip if you don't want to. There is a lock bar insert in there. We probably can't see it, but there is one. And nice big pivot collar on the back that acts as an over-travel stop. I love the sound it makes. The texturing on that handle is raised a little, mostly in the middle, and it tapers off as we get into the contouring over here. Can you see it's smooth there and ribbed in the middle, and that way it's grippy enough without being uncomfortable. The bad. The only gripe I've ever had about this knife is I honestly don't like this style of pocket clip where it's up on these little standoffs with the screws sitting proud. On some knives that really annoys me, but this one is big enough that that whole assembly is not in contact with my hand. So I really don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just my least favorite type of pocket clip is the only gripe I have. The weird. Well, the thing that made this knife unusual, that caught my eye, I of course saw the early videos from like Jim Skelton and Metal Complex on this. I like the size. I like the dimensions. I like the broad blade. I like that it's thin enough to be slicey. It just stood out because it was just such a cool mix of crazy overbuilt PMP knife, but also at the same time very practical dimensions. That is a difficult combination to pull off, to get that nice mix of crazy yet practical. The only other knife that we've touched on in this series that I feel like is a valid comparison so far is actually that I wish my brain worked. Spyderco Jumbo, right? So it's a drop point instead of a warning, but we are looking at tall blade, thinner handle, ground for slicing. So we are seeing, this is actually, I feel like the most usable of the PMP beast lineup, the Grizzly, the Kodiak, the Alpha Beast, the Alpha Smilodon, like this one. This one's the Alpha Smilodon. So this is really the most usable of that line from PMP. And for that, I love it. It's one of my favorites. Thank you for tuning in to The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Stay tuned for the next one.